Get ready to blast off with the hottest, high-flying truck action you're ever going to see. Cars crushed into pie pans like some of the wildest, most awesome vehicles to ever roll on four wheels. Ride in a sky-scraping Land Cruiser and catch the down and dirty sprint to the infamous and treacherous mud bomb. Watch these drivers take all challenges to crush anything. All this and more as Main Event Entertainment presents Crush This!
Oh, it was absolutely super. There were some of the biggest trucks. I'm hoarse from yelling. Honestly, I'm sorry. There were some of the biggest trucks I've ever seen here. It was absolutely phenomenal. Just absolutely phenomenal. I'm serious.
Over the past decade, the phenomenon of monster trucks has evolved into one of America's most popular motorsports. Every time these giants roll forth, they're met by the cheers of thousands of fans. Among the highlights of all giant truck gatherings is the parade to the Monster Corral. With chrome shining, paint gleaming, and flags flying, the drivers ease their machines through the crowds with military precision. Pickups, Suburbans, Jeeps, or muscle cars. Anything can take the giant leap into this unique sport where imagination and ingenuity run wild. We're looking at some serious automotive science and spending in this lineup. Nobody gets into this sport on the cheap, and that shows from the high-powered, supercharged big block engines down to the complex multi-shock absorbing systems. The parade is where and when the fans get a good look at their rolling heroes. Here's the opportunity to snap a photo or wave to a favored driver and feel a part of the happening. Everybody wants a closer look at these awesome vehicles. How often do you see a tire as tall as yourself, or an axle as thick as a boxer's arm, or a truck cab that can be reached only with a ladder? It's no exaggeration to say that these trucks really stand out in a crowd, and their drivers love to stand tall among the competition. Inside the corral, spectators are free to move in close and check out the craftsmanship and ingenuity that make these high-tech vehicles unique in all of motorsports. These mammoth trucks are never truly at peace. Even when sitting still, they retain their incredible sense of power. One of the most outrageous sights you'll see is a bright blue Camaro on 5-foot-tall tires.
Blue Thunder is controlled by a hydraulic control stick. He starts, he stops, the nitrous is controlled here. The drivetrain of Blue Thunder is 22,000-pound Rockwell axles connected to a 2.5-ton Rockwell case. The airbags are off a tractor trailer with custom-designed hydraulic shocks. It features a double low-range reduction unit custom-made for the truck. It has 7 independent air tanks on it which control the level of the car, the airbags. The tires are Goodyear Crane tires weighing 2,800 pounds apiece. The rims are custom made to fit the axles. A 67 440 Magnum, rated at about 550 horsepower, has Predator carburetors, a NOS nitrous charge system, and a tunnel ram.
Nobody said you had to be uncomfortable up here in the clouds. Blue Thunder comes complete with CB radio, full-bore stereo sound system, comfy leather seats, even dual fans to keep the driver cool. It's a regular limo on legs. Every driver has his own ideas about what makes the best truck, but they all agree on one thing: bigger is better, and biggest is best. And how about those paint jobs and nicknames? In a sport not yet taken over by big sponsorships, each driver still gets a chance to put his own personal imprint on his vehicle, and few disappoint. Sure, you've heard of Bigfoot and Barefoot, but how about the Crimson Crusher, or Pac-Man, or Flying High, or Burning Desire? Then there's First Blood, Sudden Impact, Overexcited, and many more. These are the all-American monster trucks. Engines, tires, shock absorbers, springs. Nearly everything is either custom made or modified to meet the incredible pounding these trucks dish out. Because they are first and foremost racing vehicles, fiberglass bodies and tubular frames cut down on the weight. Special axles and aluminum transmission cases help shave away additional pounds. Showmanship is king in this sport. Fluttering flags, wild paint schemes, nicknames to boggle the mind. Every mechanical gimmick that the innovator's mind can conceive of eventually seems to show up on these trucks. These drivers take their play seriously. Everything possible is done to entertain the fans and humble the competition. When it comes to muscle, these top-of-the-line blown, fuel-injected engines can shake ground with 1,500 horsepower. Even the smallest guy on the block boasts more than 500. High-tech is the name of the game here. These trucks utilize high-performance 500 cubic inch racing engines, complete with magnetos, electric fuel pumps, and even remote-controlled engine shutoffs. When giant trucks first made their appearance in the late 70s, they weighed in at up to 15,000 pounds. Now, thanks to their special weight-saving innovations, many cross the scales at half that. And how about those tires? The smallest are 4 feet tall. The average tire hits nearly 6 feet. And the biggest, so far, that's over 10 feet. A dirt arena. A hungry crowd. Junk cars. This is the freestyle corral we call the War Zone. to work. And nowhere do these trucks work out more than in the freestyle exhibitions of car crushing. No car is safe when these bad boys show up. Given his solo shot in the spotlight, each driver tries to put his individual stamp literally on the obstacle course. Frontwards or backwards, flying high or bouncing higher, each truck aims at only one thing: the most wows possible from the crowd. And who said you had to have a truck anyway? This former helicopter has found a new life on the ground. The rotors are gone and so is the tail, but look at that landing gear. Even with the camouflage, anybody can see this is a one-of-a-kind piece of work. Diving, darting, jumping, and juking, flying high and bouncing higher. Many times it's only a matter of inches between coming down to the roar of the crowd instead of a crash of mangled metal. But that edge is what these drivers live for. If it wasn't exciting, who'd want to do it? Chopper Monster is the creation of Damian Dominski, who crafted his unique vehicle from a Bell 206 Jet Ranger helicopter. Riding high in the 10-foot-tall Chopper Monster may not be the same as flying, but then Dominski's never had a landing he couldn't walk away from, no matter how bumpy the trip through the war zone. The wild action that is freestyle exhibition looks outrageous enough from the outside, but things become truly scary on the inside as you sit inside the cockpit. It's hard for anyone to remain blasé around a truck that can climb a wall of cars, pound them into tinfoil, and keep looking for more, all the while surrounded by flash, dash, and thunder. If 4 giant tires do a good job of flattening some Detroit iron, wouldn't 8 do even better? But even if there's not much left to crush, how about a little low-level flying from behind the wheel? When you're this high off the ground to begin with, what's another 10 feet? For these thrill men, no punishment is too great or stunt too wild as the crowds cheer them on. Monster truck events draw people like bees to honey, and each year the crowds multiply. So what's it like to drive one of these bouncing beasts? Here's a first-hand account.
Danger factor is coming off the sides of the cars and hoping that you can counter steer once you come off the sides of the cars so that the truck won't go into a rollover. If you come up on the cars, depending if you're the first guy out or second or third guy out, and it depends on how the cars are set up. And once you hit the cars, if you hit them fast enough in that, you can get a good launch out of it and keep the truck going real smooth then. Every time I drive it, you just get more comfortable. You feel with the steering and the way you're buckled in with the racing harness and that, and everything just feels a lot stronger. And you get pretty confident. If you start doubting yourself, then that's when it seems like you start running into problems when you're going over the cars. The visibility is good mainly off the driver's side because you can see the left front tire and the left rear tire. As for the right side, all you can do is just try and judge it as much as possible because the truck is 12 feet wide.
Car crushing. It looks rough, and it is. But this kind of high hurdle work is what these trucks were built for. Blasting forward or backward, nothing's too much for these guys. Landing on 4 tires or only 2, it's all the same.
We're spinning around and we do a launch or a freestyle wheel stand over the cars, and that we have very much control of the cars. The only time we run into a problem is if a car were not to have a motor in it and the hood were to fold down and the truck would start to tip to one side. Other than that, you have very much control of the vehicle.
Given the heavy-duty equipment built into these specially constructed chassis, 20-foot leaps are just a Sunday drive. One of the stars of this day's action is Barefoot, a pioneer of the sport. Simple, but driving one of these big rigs can be tricky. They're high center, and that can lead to havoc when taking a tight turn. Drivers face plenty of dangers during their wild runs through the obstacle course. And with so many potential disasters close by, trouble often follows. Those wide tires, up to 4 feet wide and inflated with only 20 pounds of pressure, can absorb a lot of the strain when the trucks go tearing across a stack of crushed cars. Just what the crowd loves. And if they don't land just right, they can tip over forwards or backwards or to either side, or what they fear most, the rollover. A dramatic crash. The gargantuan vehicle rolls. The driver isn't hurt, except in the pocketbook. And that's no small pain. The top flight trucks can cost up to $250,000.
He was squirming. He got a little loose after he bounced the first time off the cars. Immediately threw him to the left, hard left. It came down on the front wheels and she rolled end over end.
The pros know the value of state-of-the-art safety equipment that's available for their trucks. Among the many special features protecting this driver is an inside-the-cab roll cage, a back brace, plus a web of reinforced safety harnesses. An engine cutoff system quickly silences the stub Barefoot. Leaking gasoline, twisted metal, evidence of the hazards these drivers face at every event in their quest to entertain. Thanks to a little manpower, Barefoot is soon back on its feet, ready for its next showdown in the battle zone.
There's a lot more that we do with the monster trucks besides just crushing cars. We come down to Broadway Bob's at Great Lakes Dragway. We haul kids around. We haul approximately 15 to 20 kids, and we give them a 3-minute ride, and we do that on the big event, the Labor Day weekend.
She wants to drive one.
Was turning and backing up. It was bumpy and we almost crashed.
Yeah, how fast?
Not too fast.
You going there again? You want to drive one of those things when you get bigger?
For a first time doing that, it just totally amazes them to be riding in a big truck, because all they've ever seen were on TV, going over the cars and that, and actually riding the back of the truck just for that 3-minute ride. It seems like it stays in their mind forever.
This is the first time I've ever been to anything like this, and I thought half of them were kind of crazy to be out there, but it really looked like a lot of fun, and I'm having a real good time.
Today, hundreds of monster trucks are in existence. They show up at car shows, auto dealerships, county fairs, tractor pulls, and rodeos. They even have their own national racing championships in indoor as well as outdoor arenas. But in the late 70s, there was only one tall-tired truck, Bob Chandler's original Bigfoot. Father saw his dream child grow into a national phenomena and a major motorsport. It is to Bob Chandler's credit, as he is the inventor of monster trucks. In the early days, just seeing a truck riding atop a set of 4-foot tires was awe-inspiring. Bigfoot didn't have to do much to be a success in those days. But Chandler's an innovator, and soon Bigfoot could be seen striding across a pair of junker cars, far from the reckless abandon of today's car crushers. Bigfoot even uses a spotter on the ground to direct him over the cars. The early stunts were done with the utmost care and caution. It up. Soon, thousands of cars fell victim to the many towering trucks that followed in Bigfoot's tracks. The sport quickly moved from outdoor fairs to indoor arenas and became one of today's most popular motorsports. For some, the giant trucks were good only for a laugh, but others took the idea seriously. Well, maybe not that seriously. place that always welcomes the most outrageous in motor vehicles is Broadway Bob's Great Lakes Dragway outside Milwaukee, Wisconsin. One of the highlights of Broadway Bob's annual Labor Day Bash is the parade of the killer trucks. Here the Giants promenade in relative calmness down the drag strip. This is as quiet as it gets for trucks, because once they leave the drag strip or the corral, it'll be showtime. And if you think you've seen everything on four wheels, how about a three-wheel super trike? Broadway Bob's bashes draw such a turnout of giant trucks that the drag strip sometimes looks like a crowded freeway at rush hour. The boys aren't ready to throw their weight around just yet. They're still keeping a lid on things, displaying their handcrafted vehicles to the fans. The truly tough stuff will come later. Like boxers being introduced before the big bout, these metallic gladiators strut their stuff for the crowd, giving everybody a chance to see the combatants on parade. And because Broadway Bob is a thrill seeker as well as a promoter, he's always got something extra to offer his audiences. And extras is what Broadway Bob is all about. Now that the drivers have gotten the show out of the way, it's time for the go. Once everybody is in their seat, it's time for the trucks to pair off and drag race. Nothing, stacks of cars, piles of dirt, not anything will keep these beasts from getting to the finish line first. Here the trucks pair off to drag race. As in the world of dragsters and funny cars, the object is to get to the finish line first. But there are a few extra obstacles. The incredible pounding the trucks take on impact is evidenced on the drivers, who also take a beating. And at the end of the day, that one driver will be standing head and shoulders above the giants. As time goes on and monster truck competition gets more intense, new obstacles are bound to come their way. As the crowds yell, "Crush this!"
Pretty awesome. Good show. I changed my name.
What is it now?
Batman Bob.